Hello, everybody, and welcome to Not Dead Yet. We're going to be talking about life's most momentous moments, the ones that had the most impact on your life, and maybe had you messing with destiny a little bit. Destiny matters because, we're at this stage in our life where counting on destiny matters a lot. Because as we talked about last week, we're at a stage in our life where we're facing a lot of unknowns. And we may think that destiny is a little unclear right now. So let's talk about the things that have happened in our lives thus far that may have an impact on our destiny and where things come and where things go from here. I sent out an email at the beginning of this week that really did generate quite a lot of interest and quite a lot of feedback. And we'll talk about some of that, but I wanted to share with you something that happened in my life that had an incredible impact on the rest of my life. And I thought we'd start the discussion there. I was hit by a truck when I was 15 years old, and I was on a bike, and it has lingering effects to this day, and it had a monstrous effect on my life at that point. So it was my birthday, and I went to go celebrate with two friends of mine. So what I'm telling you is actually what I know happened. It's not what I remembered happened, because the longest lasting impact of that accident is its impact on my memory. I don't have a very good memory. I certainly don't remember what happened on that day. I will tell you what I know. I was on a bike. Brakes weren't working. I was living in Pennsylvania at the time, and I was going out to go get pizza with two friends. And two male friends, and we were on bikes, and one was in front of me, one was behind me. And we apparently went to the first place. The pizza wasn't ready. So we decided to go a little farther to another pizza joint. And it was in one of those roads where you turn left to kind of go around a highway. And we were apparently going left, and I was in the middle, and it was like a go around sort of thing, and trucks were coming the other way. And apparently when I was going around, I didn't know the brakes on the bike that I was on weren't working, and there was a truck coming straight head on, and he apparently wasn't able to stop, and he hit me dead on. And I was apparently dead for about 5 minutes, and I lost the left side of my face. I had to do a skin graft on it. And I had some other bumps and bruises on my collarbone, and it was a pretty scary time. And like I said, it affected my memory. I don't really have any memory, certainly not of the accident. And I really don't have any connection or memory of the person who I was before the accident. I just, no connection with that person at all. None, zero. And I don't, my short-term memory since the accident is gone as well. I mean, it's a problem for me, and it has been my entire adult life. And I apologize for the phone ringing. I should have turned that off before the podcast, but I didn't. So it will go away eventually. Like for instance, I don't remember my son's graduation from high school at all. I mean, I know he graduated. I mean, he went on, as we talked about before, he went on and he's done great things, but I don't remember being there. I don't remember where it was at. I don't remember watching him walk or anything like that. I just don't remember it. Even a few months ago, I went to Paris for my birthday, and I don't really remember it. I mean, I have certain images in my head. I know I was there, but I don't remember it. My short-term memory to this day has been greatly impacted by that accident. And there was some brain trauma involved. My mother and other people said that my personality changed tremendously because of that accident. There was no question but that single moment, the impact of that truck hitting me, impacted the rest of my life in tremendous ways. Did it mess with my destiny? Was I supposed to be somebody else before that truck hit me? I don't know. Do you believe in destiny? I wish you could, if you wrote me a comment, if you have any questions or thoughts on that, let me know. I mean, some of the comments I got this week were kind of interesting. I mean, there was a gentleman who wrote me and said that he was on his flatbed of his truck, and some guy was on his cell phone, and or he was just taking a break on the back of his truck, and some guy was on a cell phone or scanning or whatever, and hit him head on, and he was it affected the rest of his life. I mean, he's in terrible pain. Every single he was he was slammed head on collision, and he should have been dead. And thank God he's not. He says he's in such horrific pain every single day for the rest of his life. And so, man, that probably changed his destiny, right? That one moment of impact, boom. And now he's in horrific pain for the rest of his life. So his destiny changed tremendously. So now it's his destiny for the rest of his life that he's supposed to be on painkillers for the rest of his life, and he should just be grateful for being alive. Is that what his destiny is now? So it really makes me wonder a little bit, as we've talked about what the significance is of being a middle-aged plus at this stage of our life, at this stage of adulthood. And I often wonder, I think that the moment when I realized that this was kind of new age for me is like I said, we've reached this point where, the kids are kind of off and they're doing great, and they're, at least they're off on their own. And then there's this space in our lives where we realize that, okay, so what are we really supposed to be doing? What's the purpose in our lives now? And I think that there's a difference between purpose and destiny. I think purpose is really like the reason. It gives you a reason for going on. And destiny is sort of like the decisions you make to get there, right? It's your options to go forward. And I think a lot of people think that, we all our destiny is kind of predestined for us. It's our fate. A lot of that has to do sort of like with religion and stuff like that. And I think that's fair enough. But I still think that we have a responsibility for our own destiny a little bit. So if again, that man who was hit dead on and is now in horrific pain for the rest of his life, he's made a choice. He's made a decision to take charge of his own destiny. He's not going to be just sitting around doing nothing and bemoaning the fact that he's in all this pain and will spend the rest of his life, on just in horrific pain. He's made the decision. He's going to be joyful and grateful for being alive. And so he is, his purpose in life is just to be grateful and to share that joy with the people around him. After my accident, I'm not sure that I was old enough yet to understand that I needed to make choices to have a destiny or a path forward in life. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure yet that I've found my purpose yet for the rest of my life. I always knew that I was destined to be, Dylan's mom. I've always believed that was one of the reasons for my place here on earth, but I'm not quite sure I figured out the rest of it yet. But there have been other things that have happened in my life, and I think there are things that happen in each of our lives that help us come to a point where we find out our destiny and our fate. There was somebody else who wrote to me and said that there were moments in her life when she, had a stillbirth, a stillborn child during her life, and that was a moment that was cataclysmic, that made her come to certain decisions and realize that her destiny had changed at that point. And that people are diagnosed with certain health issues and certain things, and there are issues and things and events that happen in our life that are monumental. I mean, yeah, when people die, I'll share something else with you that I think was a monumental thing that happened in my life that maybe changed its path or direction in a little bit. My sister died. My sister died when she was 39 years old. And her death impacted my family, my entire family, in incredible ways. I think each of us individually in substantial ways. And the impact of her death affected each of our destinies in different ways. And she had children, and of course her death impacted their lives, their destiny in monumental ways as well. And I thought, when I ended up back living here where I'm living now, I thought that my coming back here to be closer with her children, I thought that the decisions I made at that point, and again, decisions I believe are part of our destiny, I thought that that was part of my destiny, was to have a bigger role in her children's lives. I thought that was part of my destiny. I thought that was part of my purpose. I was mistaken. Um, um, I learned a lot through her death. I learned um, uh, her death was a monumental event in my life. However, I do not believe that it messed with my destiny. I do not believe it was an event that that somehow changed my destiny. I think it may have helped me learn more about myself. I think she believed in me more than most people in this world did or do. I think she still does, even from heaven. I think I feel her with me all the time. And her support and her strength are with me every single day. But her death, as big of an event as it is, I don't think it changed my destiny as much. I think it impacted her children's destiny tremendously. I think there are big events that happen in our lives that don't necessarily mess with our destiny. I think there are little events that happen in our lives that incredibly mess with our destiny. I will tell you that after I was hit by the bus and it became such a major, major, major thing in my life, and I think it largely has to do with the fact that it's impacted my memory so much, and I struggle when I share that with people because people, they don't believe me. First of all, they I think if you don't have trouble with your memory, honestly, you can't possibly know what it's like to not have a memory. It's when you can't remember what you did a week before, you can't remember what you did a month before, you can't remember what you did 5 years ago. If you don't remember who you were when you were 6 years old or 10 years old, you can't possibly explain to people what that's like. And when somebody says to you, "Hey, do you remember what you did last month?" and you look at them and you say no, they think you're lying. And so it's not something that I share easily with people. But it's been something that's haunted me most of my adult life. I have struggled to find a connection with who I was before. I've even tried hypnosis. I've tried everything. I've tried to find out who that person was because I feel like it's a disconnect. I feel that I feel like my destiny was disconnected at some point. I feel that I got off track. I feel that my fate was interrupted. So that's why maybe my becoming middle-aged plus has been a conundrum for me. I feel that I have, as I struggle to find what it is I'm supposed to do next, I feel that I'm a little bit off because I got off track somewhere and I'm constantly trying to figure out where it was that I went off kilter. And I wonder if you feel the same way, if any of you feel the same way. Do you ever feel that something happened in your life that just got you off track and you wonder what it was? Was there something that you know intellectually that, when you were young, you wanted to do when you grew up, or that you wanted to be, or you wanted to accomplish and you just never got there and you wonder why or how? And that's how I feel sometimes. And I always somehow end up attributing it to being hit by that truck, whether it's appropriate or right or wrong, I don't know. But I do feel that way often. And I don't know if you can understand that, but it's hard. It's hard to have this thing happen in your life, and I can't really explain it to many people. You can't possibly know what it is that I'm going through, and it just sounds so funny. Oh well, I have this memory issue, and lots of people say, oh well, yeah, lots of people don't remember. It's more than that. I have a disconnect. It's a disassociative state where I can't really connect with who I was. And that's an odd feeling. And that kind of led me to the question of, destiny. What was my destiny? What is my destiny? And it's sort of brings us back to, middle-aged plus. We're all at this point in our lives where, okay, so what next? What happens next? And, so we're all kind of struggling to figure out what happens next. And I sort of came to the decision in my life that I had to take charge of my destiny. It's your choices. It's the choices that you make that determine your destiny. So I think as we hit the stage in our lives where we talked last week or maybe the last week before about choices, destiny is really just about making the right choices. We are at a stage in our life where, we're not going to sit back and we're not going to say, hey, you know what? We're not going to do anything because, our fate's decided, our destiny is already decided. I'm not going to accept that. It has nothing to do with my religion. I'm a religious person. Well, I'm a spiritual person. Not so much religious, but a spiritual person. And I'm not going to, sit back and just kind of wait for somebody else to decide my fate. I'm going to take a little charge here. That means making the right choices, making the right decisions. And even my purpose right now is, we talked about this too, is just, again, find happy. If my purpose is find happy, then my destiny is about making the right choices, the right decisions to get me there. And I keep trying to do that. Even as constrained as it may be by the limitations of whatever the little things in life, the monumental decisions, the big events that may seem huge, but really didn't mess up with the destiny or the destination that I was always meant to hit. It's the little things that matter, So what else besides getting hit by a bus can I share with you that really made a difference? Let's see. Did I tell you that I gave testimony before the U.S. Congress? I did. I sat there before the U.S. Congress and I gave testimony. That was an out-of-body experience. It was truly an out-of-body experience. I remember sitting there and I was like, I couldn't believe that I was actually doing that. It was part of, it was part of my job, and I was there on behalf of a client. But, you step out of your body sometimes and you see where you are and what you're doing. And I was watching myself and I was thinking, holy shit, how did I get here? How did this happen? And I was proud of myself. It was pretty cool. But it was a journey I had taken that I kind of had ended up on a life all on its own. And I was feeling higher than a kite, and it was it was a nice place to be. I mean, I had gotten there, and it was a time in my life where I was, as I mentioned before, I was doing some stuff on the hill, and it was another place, and it didn't necessarily affect my destiny, but it affected who I was and how I thought about myself. And I'm sure it had a lot to do with, the purpose that I gave myself, and again, making the right choices, and forming who I was and what I did, and going forward, and again, making right choices, and going forward in your path in life, and not leaving it all up to other people. And those are the things that I think, as we go forward, at this stage in our life, we put it all together, and we come up with our own story. And I think basically that's one of the things that I've realized anyway, is that, everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. And we all have big events. We all have monumental moments. And we all have stories to tell. And everybody in our lives, and every event, and every big monumental moment, every tragedy, it's a plot line. And it's part of your plot line. Everybody makes their own decisions. Everybody's in charge of their own destiny. And everybody's story is their own. People who come into your lives, come into your stories, come into your plot lines for a particular duration, or a particular number of chapters, or a particular reason. And your book doesn't look like anybody else's book. Nobody else can write your story except for you. Nobody else is in charge of your destiny except for you. Nobody else is the author of your story except for you. So, I titled this podcast, I'm sorry, Are We Messing with Destiny? We're messing with destiny because we're making our own choices. And that's something I really believe in. I think that, everyone talks about fate, and I'm a big believer in karma. I believe in karma big time. I think that as long as you're true to yourself, and you believe that you are doing right is good. And that you can go to sleep at night knowing that you did what you believe you had to do. You made the right choices for yourself. Your karma is good. Then your destiny is on the right path. I don't know how I got here. I don't know where I was supposed to be. I don't know before the truck hit me, whether or not my path would be different. I don't know how I ended up here. I never thought that I would be this age by myself. I never imagined that. There are nights and there are days when I sit here and I cry. This is what I thought my life would be like. Alone at this stage of my life. I never thought that would happen. It's not happy all the time. I told you before, there are moments when I'm sad. And I've given myself permission to be sad. This is not necessarily the path or the purpose or the destiny I would have dreamed for myself. It's not what I thought my life would be like when I was a little girl. But I keep making choices. And I keep moving forward. And I keep finding purpose. And I'm determined to find happy. And like I said before, doing this podcast, I think is a step in the right direction. And I'm glad that y'all here with me. So as we end tonight's podcast, and I have a feeling that I'm still going to be meeting with some technical difficulties with Facebook Live. I can't figure out for the life of me how everybody else in the world can do Facebook Live but me. Again, I make a plea. If you are a technical expert, help me, please. Social media expert, please tell me. I'm here for the long haul. I don't care if I have to learn this stuff from scratch. I will learn it. Our destinies are ours. The choices we make are ours. The paths we go on are ours. Our stories are our own. You are your destiny. You make your own choices. The moments that we have that are monumental, the events that we have that are life-changing, there are stories. There are our plot lines. And we are the authors. They're ours. Take ownership and go for it. Find your own happy. We're middle-aged plus, and we are not dead yet. So I'll see you next week, and we're going to make it great. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to keep making it better. We're going to keep making it right, keep making the right decisions, and we're going to be managing our own destiny. Let's keep messing with it. That's the way to do it. Have a great week. Bye.